Here we have a classic dumbbell shoulder press. We are going to go for a slightly wider elbow on these. More about that in just a moment. This movement primarily is going to target the anterior delts, so the front delts, in their lengthened and mid position. Now, elbows wider with more of a pinkies out grip is going to make this exercise a little bit more front delt biased, specifically in that lengthened position, because it allows for more stretch of those front delt fibers at the bottom of the movement. No need to over exaggerate it. At the end of the day, the elbows will be positioned forward just a little bit, about 10 to 15 degrees. From here, we're just going to press straight up overhead. Notice as I press up, the dumbbells are coming together at the top. This is what we want. So there will be a bit of an out to in motion with the dumbbells. At the bottom of the movement, the dumbbells are a little bit more out. The wrist should be stacked up directly over top of the elbow, and then at the top, the dumbbells will be pressing together. Okay, let's dive into some common mistakes here. So remember I mentioned that we do want the elbows to be more out on this variation of our dumbbell press. However, when I say that, oftentimes the tendency is to go way out, is to bring the elbows back almost behind the torso slightly, really, really wide. This is going to feel really uncomfortable on your shoulders and really is not an ideal position for the front delts either. So we do want the elbows out wide-ish, but we do also want to angle them in by about 10 to 15 degrees for optimal shoulder health and to put yourself in a strong position to really push some good load with the front delts. Another common mistake we'll see on these is instead of pushing straight up with the dumbbells, either pushing out wide or out in front of the body. Again, both of these variations are just putting us in a weaker position for the front delts. It's going to cause us to use more surrounding musculature to really stabilize the movement. So instead, we want to make sure that we're pressing straight up above the head. Another mistake that tends to either be the result of inexperience or using too much load or just going with too quick of a tempo and not really paying close enough attention to the quality of the reps is not getting full elbow extension at the top of the movement. We don't want to be ending with a little bend in the elbow. We want to be pushing up and fully straightening out the arm at the top. Finally, another mistake that's really common, especially if you chose too much load, you went a little bit too heavy, is using momentum on your press. This is a mistake for a hypertrophy dumbbell shoulder press, okay? A dumbbell shoulder press that is meant to grow muscle. Now, I'm not saying that using momentum on a press is inherently wrong. It's not, if that's what you're trying to do and you're using a press for a different purpose other than hypertrophy. But for hypertrophy, we want to be controlling the movement if we really want to be growing the muscle and putting appropriate tension on the muscle. Remember where this exercise is the hardest. It's hardest in the lengthened and mid position, which is exactly the position that gets deloaded when we do more of a push press or more of a momentum-based press. So for a hypertrophy shoulder press, make sure that we're controlling the movement and we're not using momentum from the bottom.